Teachers across Alberta are dedicated to finding real ways for students with significant disabilities to develop literacy skills. One of their discoveries is how using self-selected reading can address the learning and communication needs of these students. In this video, you will learn about how a number of elementary teachers are using self-selected reading strategies to support all students in their classroom.
From this program, I learned more about how easy it is to include students with disabilities. It's very similar to the way that you differentiate for individual students in your classroom, and that's all you're really doing. You're modifying the work, and they can see that the student can do the same things that they can do, just in a different way. And they're learning more about using those different tools that they never would have been exposed to. And you'll be reading from the big books or the books on the shelf at the back.
The self-selected reading block creates an opportunity for students, especially those with disabilities, to make choices about what they will read, on their own, with a peer, or with an adult. This block includes teacher modeling, which is typically a read aloud or a mini lesson.
Quickly, the search began.
Students reading while the teacher conferences with 2 or 3 students, and sharing.
One person and then other person and other person.
It was neat to watch a teacher who was open to trying something new, taking on a new challenge, and really embracing the challenge. And I think it has been like such an impact on me and in my beliefs in what we can do with students with significant disabilities, on the other students in the school, and I think it's been an impact on her as well.
So today, the story that we're going to read has tons of really interesting word choices. So as we're
A teacher read aloud is a great way to introduce how to select reading material, explore text, and model appreciation and enjoyment of good literature.
Are you guys noticing some of the really interesting word choices? What kinds of words are you hearing that are kind of different and interesting words?
Teachers can also use a think aloud approach as they search the classroom library for books on a particular topic.
Abby, do you have a favorite author? That's a good book, isn't it?
You may want to post a visual of the strategy for students to refer to throughout the reading time. Mini lessons are a great model to introduce technologies that support literacy.
And we are going to use the words of the things that we've learned about a butterfly life cycle and make a picture that kind of looks like this. Look at all those words that you created.
My big aha moment was seeing the other kids get excited for that student when he could easily do what they were doing, just in a different way. For example, he gave a presentation and it was all on a Big Mac, and he could press the button and the kids were like, wow.
All students, including students with disabilities, are more engaged in their own learning when they have real opportunities to make personal choices. Reading selections need to be accessible to all students so they can browse and make selections independently. Classroom libraries can be organized in a variety of ways to allow for this, such as labeled baskets and bins with books arranged thematically and by topic. Students may also access books from the school library or learning commons. This reinforces that all students are part of a larger community of readers. For students who are reading significantly below grade level, teachers need to find materials that look similar to those of their classmates and include a variety of formats and text types. The reading experience for some students may be enhanced by providing interesting places to read. Technology is another tool that can be used to engage students with online literature collections. To maximize the reading time in this block, students need to clearly understand the range of literacy resources available to them and what system or routine is in place for making those choices.
Our choices are, we can pick a book off the bookshelf, You can go over and get one of the chapter books if you're reading chapter books.
Teachers can create and manage choice a number of ways. Some classrooms might have choice boards that students can use to record which literacy station or technology they would like to use during self-selected reading time. During the self-selected reading block, there should be options for reading alone or with others. Some students will enjoy reading alone and they need opportunities and encouragement to do this. Others will benefit from sharing the reading experience with a peer. Partner and small group reading can be informal, such as 2 or 3 students with similar reading abilities sharing a book, taking turns interacting with the book, and talking about what they are reading. Students with similar interests but differing reading levels can also enjoy a shared reading experience. One student might read the text aloud, while the other student uses switch access to turn the pages or highlight interesting text or graphics. Alternatively, one student may read aloud a passage, and another student might use text-to-speech software to read the next section of text. The goal of the self-selected reading block is to create authentic opportunities for students to see themselves as competent and engaged readers. It is also an opportunity for students to see reading as an enjoyable part of learning and living.
They were excited for him, and they clapped for him, and he was proud of himself, and he said, "Good job!" And he was very proud of the things that he could do with them. So it wasn't just about including him socially, but academically as well.
One-to-one conferencing time can provide benefits to both students and teachers. It creates that one-to-one time that is so important for all students, particularly those with disabilities.
The toys.
It is an opportunity for teachers to find out how individual students interact with text, how they feel about themselves as readers, and what kinds of texts and formats are most meaningful and effective for them. Teachers may also use this time to help individual students find books that fit both their interests and abilities. Conferencing can be both formal and informal. In a more formal conference, teachers can ask a student to read aloud a favorite passage from a book he or she is reading. The teacher may ask 2 or 3 open-ended questions about the passage and then invites the student to ask a question that the teacher will answer. Some students will need alternate ways to answer questions, such as the teacher presenting choices, possibly with pictures or symbols, and then having the student point to his or her answer.
Can you circle it for Mrs. Moore, please? Circle it.
Or have pre-programmed responses on their augmentative communication device. Helping students anticipate the focus of the conference will enhance the quantity and quality of student interaction. Conferencing can be an ideal time to gather informal assessment data. For example, the teacher can ask a student to read a sample passage and use this opportunity to observe how the student is interacting with the text. Conferencing is a learning time for both students and teachers. It creates opportunities for students to explore and practice reading, and for teachers to observe and model desired reading behaviors.
If you feel scared, just turn it on.
I didn't think that I had the patience or the knowledge to adapt regular material, but I learned a lot in this program about how this is what we're doing in grade 1-2. This is the same thing that this child can do. He just does it differently, and we have different tools and different supports in place to help him with that.
All students need regular opportunities to share their experiences, thoughts, and feelings about what they are reading. To maximize this experience for students with disabilities, it is important to provide structures, strategies, and scaffolding to ensure each student has a successful experience. Typically, sharing time would be built in at the end of each self-selected reading block.
Didn't you do a good job, guys?
Students can use a system such as numbered stars to record the rating of what they read and then take turns sharing their opinions. Large group sharing provide opportunities for all students to hear about a few reading experiences as shared by 2 or 3 students. Sharing with others is a unique skill and should be modeled by the teacher so students know what it looks like and sounds like. Some students may benefit from using pictures, photos, word cards, and PECs, picture exchange communication systems to communicate their ideas and experiences. Some students will need direct teaching about how to ask and respond to questions. Teachers can also create and provide visual prompts for what makes a good question. Reflecting on and sharing what they have read during self-selected reading time is a wonderful opportunity for all students, including students with disabilities. It creates opportunities to listen to others, ask and answer questions, and share their opinions and ideas with others.
I think I'm definitely a better teacher because of this. I've learned so much about myself, the things that I used to think were the only way to do something. I've learned so many different ways to do it.